Okay, we are live and on the air. Good afternoon. Today I want to do a short kipple. That means I'm going to read you a poem by Kipling, and then we're going to talk about where it comes from and what it means and what I think about it. And the poem that we're going to read today is called The Story of Uriah. I don't really know how people in English pronounce that, but I think it's probably pronounced Uriah. It's the Hittite fellow from the Bible, and then we will read about this in the original, and then I will briefly mention how the story is retold in Vacuum County. Okay, so this is our plan of action. And before we do this, I'm going to be sharing. Let's see how that works. Sharing. See how that works. Okay, first of all, we are going to share. We're going to share on Facebook. Okay, we have shared this on Facebook, so we're not going to waste any more time. I'm going to read you the poem from my favorite book of Kipling poetry. It's called Rudyard Kipling's Verse, Definitive Edition. And if you have this exact same copy, it's on page 9. And it's the story of Uriah. Now, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor, in quotes. But of course, Kipling assumes you do know this story already. So this is his version. Jack Barrett went to Quetta because they told him to. He left his wife at Simla on 3/4 his monthly screw. Jack Barrett died at Quetta ere the next month's pay he drew. Jack Barrett went to Quetta. He didn't understand the reason of his transfer from the pleasant mountain land. The season was September, and it killed him out of hand. Jack Barrett went to Quetta, and there gave up the ghost, attempting 2 men's duty in that very healthy post. And Mrs. Barrett mourned for him 5 lively months at most. Jack Barrett's bones at Quetta enjoy profound repose, but I shouldn't be astonished if now his spirit knows the reason of his transfer from the Himalayan snows. And when the last great bugle call adown the Herne throbs, and the last grim joke is entered in the big black book of jobs, and Quetta graveyards give again their victims to the air, I shouldn't like to be the man who sent Jack Barrett there. Okay, so that's the Kipling poem. In case you are somebody who has never heard this story before, it's the story about somebody much higher than him is sleeping with his wife. And so he's transferred to the front or to a place where he is sure to die. And it's murder, even though it's perfectly legal. Okay, so this is a story from the Bible, from the Old Testament. And a lot of people don't believe that the stories in the Old Testament are true, and some of them maybe aren't, but I believe this one is. Okay? All right, and I'm not going to read you the whole story. This is my Bible. This is what it looks like. I'm in the second book of Samuel, chapter 11, and I'm looking at verse 3, and it says, "Vayishlach David vidrosh leisha, vayomer halo zot bat sheva bat Eliam, eshet Uriah hachiti." Okay, so after David had whatever encounter he had with Bathsheba, he wanted to know who her husband was, and or actually, he wanted to know who she was, and they told him, "This is Bathsheba, the daughter of Beliam, the wife of Uriah Hachiti, which is Uriah the Hittite." Okay. וישלח דוד מלאכים, ויקח ותבוא אליו, וישכב עמה, והיא מתקדשת מטומאתה, ותשב אל ביתה. Okay. Actually, David sent messengers, and he took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her, and then she was sanctifying herself from her uncleanliness, and she went to her house. Okay, see, this is very specific. Yeah, so I actually didn't realize that was before. ותהר האישה, ותשלח, ותגיד לדוד, ותאמר, הרע אנוכי. Okay, and she got pregnant. It was just the right time of the month, and she sent to David, and she said to him, "I'm pregnant." Okay. וישלח דוד אל יואב, שלח אליי את אוריה החיתי, וישלח יואב את אוריה אל דוד. So David sent to Yoav, he's the guy who's in charge of the army, the commander of the army, send to me Uriah the Hittite, and Yoav sent Uriah to David. ויבוא אוריה אליו, וישאל דוד לשלום יואב, ולשלום העם, ולשלום המלחמה. Okay, everybody's very polite back in those days. So Uriah came up to him, and David asked him about how he was doing, and how Yoav was doing, and how the people were doing, and how the war was going. Okay, and it's really funny because in Hebrew, you ask after the peace of someone. So literally speaking, he asked him after the peace of Yoav, and after the peace of the people, and after the peace of the war. So how is the war pretty peaceful? Okay, how's the war going? ויאמר דוד לאוריה, רד לביתך ורחץ רגליך, ויצא אוריה מבית המלך, ותצא אחריו משאת המלך. Okay, so David basically told Uriah to go home, wash his feet, and do what people do when they come home. Okay, and then he sent his spies to see what happened. וישכב אוריה פתח בית המלך את כל עבדי אדוניו, ולא ירד אל ביתו. And Uriah did not go home. He slept at the opening of the king's house with all of his servants, all of the servants of his master, and he did not go home. He did not go down to his own house. ויגידו לדוד לאמור, לא ירד אוריה אל ביתו, ויאמר דוד אל אוריה, הלא מדרך אתה בא, מדוע לא ירדת אל ביתך? Okay, so they told David, the people who were spying on him told him, Uriah did not go down to his house. And David said to Uriah, after all, you've come a long way. Why didn't you go home? ויאמר אוריה אל דוד, הארון וישראל ויהודה יושבים בסוכות, ואדוני יואב ועבדי אדוני על פני השדה חונים, ואני אבוא אל ביתי לאכול ולשתות ולשכב עם אשתי, חייך וכי נפשך אם אעשה את הדבר הזה. Okay, well, Uriah was feeling sort of guilty that he was getting a leave and other people weren't. So all the host and Israel and Judah and all the people are sitting in huts, and his master Yoav, who was in charge of the army, and all of the servants of my Lord are upon the they're camped out in the field, and I would go home to eat and to drink and to sleep with my wife by your life and my the life of your soul. I wouldn't do such a thing. That would be wrong. Okay. ויאמר דוד אל אוריה, שב בזה גם היום ומחר אשלחך, וישב אוריה בירושלים ביום ההוא ומחרת. So David told him to stay another day, and he would send him the following day. I'll send you tomorrow. And he stayed in Jerusalem that day and the following. ויקרא לו דוד, ויאכל לפניו, וישת, וישקרהו, ויצא בערב לשכב במשכבו עם עבדי אדוניו, ואל ביתו לא ירד. Okay, so David called him, and he ate in front of him, and he drank, and he got him drunk. And he went in the evening, and he still went to lie down and sleep with the servants of his master, and to his home he did not go down. Okay, so ויהי בבוקר ויכתוב דוד ספר אל יואב וישלח ביד אוריה. So in the morning, David wrote a book. Well, I think he probably just wrote a letter, but you know how sometimes somebody will send you a letter that's so long you might call it a book? No. To Yoav, and he sent it in the hand of Uriah. ויכתוב בספר לאמור, הבו את אוריה אל מול פני המלחמה החזקה, ושבתם מאחריו, וניקה ומת. Okay. And he wrote in the letter to say, send Uriah into the battle, into the front of the great battle, and go and retreat behind him, and so he will be struck and die. Okay, and I don't need to read you the rest of this. So this is the thing. I always wondered, because they make us read this stuff. I don't know what people read here when they're reading the Bible, but that's the stuff they make you read in Israel, and that's the stuff that I read when I was studying the Bible. And I always wondered, do you think Uriah didn't know? I mean, was he really that innocent? Did he really not know that David was sleeping with his wife? Or could he possibly have known and decided that the best thing to do was to let whatever was happening between the king and his wife happen and not get in the way? I don't know. It could be either way. The way it's always interpreted by most people is he was a very innocent man, and he died because of his innocence and because of the evil that the king did to him. And, that wasn't a really good king. I don't know why we celebrate him so much. In my book, I tell it like it is. But in my book, there's a slightly different take on, well, we'll call him Gary in my book. And Gary knows what's going on. Okay? But in my book, things don't turn out as badly for him as they do in the real world. So if you want to know more about it, read Vacuum County. And that has been my reading from Kipling and the Bible. If you have anything to say about this, please leave a comment to let me know what you thought. And that was my Bible reading for today. Have a wonderful day, and don't let your boss send you to the front.